Extraordinary events in the Middle East. 3 hostages emerged today as part of that ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas. This is the moment when Hamas handed over the women in a crush of soldiers. The Red Cross returned the women to Israeli forces after 15 months in captivity. The heartfelt embraces and emotion as these families have the reunions they have demanded and hoped for more than a year. Thousands gathered in Tel Aviv Square, cheering and clapping as the women reclaimed their freedom. And since that ceasefire started earlier today, more than 550 humanitarian aid trucks have entered Gaza. The ceasefire was delayed for 3 hours, and during that period, an additional 13 Palestinians were killed. The second round of the hostage release is now slated for Saturday. We have team coverage tonight. ABC's Ian Pannell leads us off from Tel Aviv.
It's been a day of high emotion, of hugs, tears and relief. The first 3 hostages released from Gaza as part of that fragile ceasefire deal. And after 15 months of hell, the guns finally falling silent. 470 days after the attack on Israel on October the 7th. This is how the day unfolded. 3 young women, Romi Gonen, Damari and Doron Steinbrecher, brought from captivity by the very same group that massacred so many and took them captive. Incredibly, it's gunmen back on the streets once again, controlling the crowd. The women were handed over to a Red Cross convoy before heading back into Israel.
Incredible scenes here after 15 months of heartbreak, of dashed hopes, of disappointment. Finally, the first glimpse of one of the hostages in Gaza on her way home.
3 daughters on their way out and 3 mothers anxiously watching it unfold. And when news came through that they were on the way home, an emotional dam burst wide open. Romi Gonen's dad unable to keep his feet on the ground any longer. With the sun beginning to set, Emily, Doron and Romi exiting the Red Cross cars. Their faces say it all. Now inside IDF vehicles, the former hostages back on Israeli soil. And within hours, finally reunited with their families. In one of his final acts as president, Joe Biden announcing a deal he's worked on tirelessly.
The deal that I first put forward last May for the Middle East has finally come to fruition.
And here in Tel Aviv, jubilant Israelis watching the transfer live as the former hostages changed hands, laughing, cheering and crying. Celebrations today for Israelis and for Palestinians too. For Gazans, this was the first time it was safe to be out on the streets in 15 months. Almost 2,000 Palestinians held in Israeli jails also expect to head home again. And those desperately needed trucks carrying food and medical supplies for Palestinians finally crossing. But just look at what's left of their homes, their communities, their lives. A city, a land largely reduced to dust. For some, relief to see their homes spared, but so many have lost everything. Despite the pain of a war that's cost more than 46,000 Palestinian and more than 1,800 Israeli lives, the ceasefire is a seed of hope planted amid the ruins.
Linsey, this ceasefire is extremely fragile, and the incoming Trump administration is really going to have its work cut out to try and make sure that this deal does not break down. Linsey?
Certainly a lot at stake, Ian. Thank you.